My name is Elkrief, and today I'd like to share with you the 5th of 6 ways to discover for yourself that your unwanted emotions are actually created by thoughts and not by circumstances. So to get started, I'd like you to imagine that you're just standing in line at Starbucks, minding your business, when all of a sudden a guy walks past or tries to walk past and says, "Get out of my way," as he walks past you, and you allow him to go past, but you get a little upset, a little angry at him. So if you look and imagine you're in this situation, imagine how you would feel, and then ask yourself right now, what do you think would have caused your emotion, your anger in that situation? For most of us, we would think something along the lines of, his disrespectful words caused my anger. His rude words caused my anger. But that's a bit deceiving. If we look at it more closely, the important question to ask ourselves for this 5th way that we're looking at today is, what are the facts and what are my thoughts about the facts? So if we separate that right there, his disrespectful words caused my anger. What are the facts there? Well, the facts are, his words get out of my way. The thoughts about the facts are, his words were disrespectful. His words were rude. You see how those are two separate things? Disrespectful and rude doesn't exist as part of the facts. We can't see, hear, touch rude. We can only hear words that say, "Get out of my way." Then we have to decide that those words are disrespectful or rude. We have to hear those words, think about whether they're, we unconsciously do this automatically. We look at the words or hear the words, and then we compare those words to our idea of appropriate and respectful, and then decide where they fall in, and then decide those words were disrespectful. And then we react to our thoughts about the facts. We react to the thought that was disrespectful and not to the actual words themselves. Do you see that? Can you see how that is? It's a little bit difficult to grasp. So let's look at another example. We might feel, imagine you feel ashamed about your nose. Okay? You just feel really ashamed about your nose. If you look at it, if I asked you, what is creating your shame? You might say to yourself, my ugly nose is creating my shame. But once again, if we ask ourselves, what are the facts? What are my thoughts about the facts? Then we might be able to see, okay, I have a nose is the fact. My nose is this shape and this big and like that. And my thoughts about the facts are, the way my nose is ugly. But ugly doesn't exist as part of the facts. What happens is we see a nose, then unconsciously we compare our nose to our idea of a perfect nose, and then decide where our nose fits in, and then label it accordingly. So I'll label my nose ugly, and then feel shame about it, and think my shame is caused by my ugly nose. But it's really just caused by my thought, my nose is ugly. That's it. So this is the case with all of our circumstances in life. We're constantly labeling things as facts when they're actually thoughts about facts. Right? We think she is disrespectful, he is ugly, she is mean, this situation is terrible, he doesn't appreciate me. All those things are just thoughts about facts. Facts themselves are neutral. Reality doesn't contain a perspective within it. What happens is we just superimpose our ideas of good and bad, right and wrong, should and shouldn't onto reality and claim it to be part of the facts. And then we react to that. Once we see that what we thought was the facts actually is our thoughts about the facts, then it becomes easier to acknowledge that our emotions are created by our thoughts about the facts and not the facts themselves. So you can take a moment right now and just apply it to one of your unwanted emotions. So if you just pick an unwanted emotion about some bad circumstance, bad event, bad personality trait, bad action, bad physical appearance trait. And just pick that right now. And then ask yourself, does the bad, or the synonym for bad, exist as part of the facts? Can you see, hear, touch, feel the badness of this fact? Right? And if you can acknowledge that the bad element of whatever your circumstance you think is causing your emotion only exists as your thought about the facts and not as part of the facts themselves, then can you admit that your emotion must be created by your thoughts and not by the facts? So, I hope you understood, but don't worry about it if you didn't. This one's a little bit more difficult to grasp. And once again, I'd love it if you share your experience with me in the comments area or ask a question. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.